Looking out for those three guys on the server as we're finally ready to get into our matchup. Our first map between G2 and the Outsiders, Inferno, as picked by the Outsiders, who are off to the T side to kick things off. JKS already spotting info down middle in the pistol round, and they're charging straight up the brackets here.
It's very quick, but that flash might just hold them for a moment. With this sort of crossfire, this is looking solid.
Two players spotted crossing, taps forward to those USPs. mONESY can get one decent kill, peeking in the left and right alongside HooXi, providing a bit of support. Great headshots coming in from that USP who can double up. A 4 versus 3. Bomb dropped in the open. Norva's going to get caught off as mONESY lands a triple, and Kicker is left alone.
Just for a moment, felt like Outsiders had done enough on that initial stance out towards brackets, the molly going towards the left-hand side of Porch. They force out the early 1-for-1, but not being able to drive mONESY out of that cubby quarter towards long. So much damage being pounded down onto the T side. And now for Kicker, he's got the bomb on his back, but there's players everywhere.
And 60 seconds to play with to try to get back into the site, get a bomb plant. Unlikely he makes it work at this stage. He'll try prod out towards this arch position, but being wrapped in by HooXi should allow a decent kill to come through, effective and efficient.
Really big and extended leads going into their second half.
Outsiders might flash their way into that position and try to stack forward against NIKo. The SMG, however, isn't missing alongside HooXi. 2 kills, 3 kills, dropping the bomb, 4 kills untraded. Not much to worry about here for the G2 side. NIKo might even force forward for the knife, but Hunter comes in with support.
A lot of officials under their belt and a lot of map picks in best of 3s for him. 3 on A. You can see Outsiders leaving a single lurk out towards that logs position. Fame being naded down, even double. That's going to deal with him completely.
Eventually found it. SMG of Hunter gets another good kill alongside mONESY locking out Kicker. 2 standing for the CT4, or T-side forces, I should say. James able to get a couple kills back though. Now Flit to act in. The bomb needs to be protected. It's on the low HP individual in this exchange. So Flit needs to do some heavy lifting. And look at the backstab inbound from NIKo. Detecting. Nice pulled out for both players. Oh, James just barely escapes with his life and tries to lock out position, but refaces to his demise.
Flit doing his best to try and bring the numbers back, but just not to be. Great starts there.
Outsiders buy potential upgrade pistols inbound for round 4. See the nade stacks of the smokes coming out. Already one player facing with a sprays. The incendiaries come down, and Fame takes out his own teammate in the exchange with flash assist from another teammate at the same time. Not a great start for Outsiders here. Flashes and smokes will try and suppress the T side via the basis of utility above the directed engagements. I want to lose towards the half-court round in this one, but flashes are so well-timed, leaving HooXi a nice double. NIKo with one of his own, and James alone, the 1 versus 5. Detected through that smoke, should be dead to rights.
Trying to get himself over to a P250, but with G2 having players all around and a backstab towards Banana, the best that Jabe could hope for is 1 pick. The AWP posted down. James going to get caught off guard by JKS in the back line. Outsiders
back on the guns here. Needs to start changing their pace here.
Forza to this lineup was that apartments lurk, something that he was a bit of a trademark with.
Well, mONESY's AWP is his trademark, and he connects it for the opening kill of round 5. Flit down. Nothing at all. Heard footsteps, but know that they're in brackets. Flashbangs in for Norbert to try to take face. You've got JKS held out towards Mini Pit. Hunter into the bomb site itself. mONESY's AWP still there to support. See several players as JKS locks out a kill, and mONESY slowly walks around the corner to get a headshot on Kicker. A tag on towards 1. Jane will hold 1 decent trade, but needs 4 more.
You expect top form from him, and as of right now, it feels like G2 are putting a lot of pressure down towards the apartments. And
Hero AK in on Jane, of course, 4 frags, he deserves it. Top of the board right now for the Outsiders, but NIKo again through the smoke just sprays him down, opens up the round without getting a single bit of vision and still bit of info at all. I've beaten him on this map before. Again, back at the major, that was a G2 victory. Engagement from James at least can catch off NIKo, get something back in this round of 4-on-4. Low HP for him, though. They haven't gotten out unscathed here, and the nades will do even more by HooXi, trying to stall them as the smokes come in towards Cross. Swing out ahead of the Molotov. HooXi's burning. He's not aware of his surroundings, and Norbert gets the kill from beyond the wall. The boost will take time to set up here at Flower Pots. Norbert has crossed with the bomb. Spray through from Hunter. Can take it back to a 3 versus 3 situation. Fame's low, but so's Hunter. The bomb should get picked up and planted here.
This is looking very good for Outsiders right now. 3v3 on the post plant. mONESY could think about swinging out wide, though.
I don't know about that. The HP numbers on Fame and James are to be considered here. Shots ringing out from the AWP. JKS, last man, inbound bomb, yet to get planted. 20 seconds to do so. They've got to force this AWP to make a mistake. They're leaning in from CT instead. Are they backing off? Surely they don't have time to go for a rotate here. They don't. 10 seconds. Bomb plant's got to be committed to now. Deagle making noise, trying to drive them out. 2 kills come in, and mONESY lands another multi-frag.
been a coach of Vanguard before joining up with this lineup for about 3 years now.
But information denial, the bomb was yet to commit.
Slightly different setup there. We often see the tower boost in there towards that boiler position. It was a double stack, but not on top of one another. Some retaking nades towards the top of Banana is going to indicate that there's nothing in front of the half wall.
NIKo's going to get caught on the edge of the Molotov, will take some damage, but not as much damage that HooXi just did to Fame. And Kicker again tagged up, further nades coming down against them. The AK will try and lean forward as NIKo gets out.
Kick it, trying to see if he can get one of these quick entries, but now being on 39 points of health, it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
No easy XE either. Still have those 3 smokes they can use here. Put one down across. Flash going over. Counter smoke back. They line up for NIKo. They just give it up to the man. 2 easy frags, and now the AWP with an AK alongside it. A great smoke as well from HooXi. Can look to the right-hand side, being mostly covered off. Look and spot the T as they make their way out. Engages on one. NIKo gets his triple. Looking for the quadra, maybe even the ace here. Flits down. USP pulled out against the AWPer. Does get that exit frag, but 5 seconds to get the bomb down. He knows it's impossible. It's a 7-0 start for G2. Outsiders not giving us the game we hoped for here.
The only round that I'm looking at that looks remotely winnable was that 3v3 on the Eco where they were close to a post plant.
Incendiary sent nades also coming in from the TT side. Will try drive outsiders back. They don't know that they've vacated that position already. 3 players up in apps. They have flashbangs. They can go for the apps pop here. There's a Molotov in towards quad that should drive them back. JKS and Hunter on the crossfire, however, for the defensive line, and indeed those flashes do come through for the apartments XE. JKS straight through on one, doesn't see Norbert until it's too late. Kill found to a 4-on-4, but Hunter's on site, and mONESY has a gap in that smoke.
And not the best motor smoke at all. Trying to assist the U2 because they've still got a teammate in the side.
Hunter elevated, ready to receive them. Here's that scope, knows that AWP is in play, but Kicker suspecting there might be some sort of exit game. Jame down, smokes up. mONESY will take some damage to the Deagle tags. The bomb's got to get prioritized here. 20 seconds. Get the money at least, boys. Flit down. Kicker out in the open. Just giving up these kills. And they aren't even getting a look in these rounds, let alone the plants. It's 8-0 for G2.
When that smoke goes down, you can see mONESY that's AWPing towards Moto. Puts a smoke out, wait for the smoke to clear before we can actually strike onto Hunter.
Waited too long with the time against them. Hunter's already picked up the opening frag, and Fame cannot even get the trade. mONESY sponged the damage, turned the AWP into Fame's position. 5-on-3 already gained by G2.
mONESY with a great reassurance on that backup as soon as Hunter starts falling off, and what you would have imagined Hunter to fall, being on such low HP on that spam.
And there's Flit taking one back. JKS with a responsive. They've siphoned off that long position. Blocked it off from brackets. Hunter's not falling for it though. No reason to push forward, especially as Kicker drops. And now James should reveal himself. And to his demise at that. 9-0.
Against Big, where they got 9 rounds on the T side of Inferno. When they took on MIBR yesterday.
Everybody else here. Flashes in, smokes down. T trying to go real quick into the bomb site. JKS isn't cool by any of those flashes. At least Norbert can trade. Gap in that smoke, which they can spam down HooXi with. So an advantage gained here by the outsiders. Jane playing right up close and personal, though. Needs to turn that AWP into the site and deal with Hunter. Again, the timer running so low for the outsiders. 30 seconds left, and now a second player has joined them. Hold the defensive line against the incoming incendiary. Smokes will come back. Flashbang forward, NIKo. They're going to go in for a ballsy move. Flashed in by mONESY instead. Sees nothing. And Smoke will start to clear that one. All will reveal itself. Transfer doesn't quite work out for him. He will get traded back. Advantage still maintained here by the T side. Norbert's got to go for that bomb plant here. Down over at the coffins, and mONESY will not get a chance to deny it. No scope isn't going to work in that case, my friend. That is the first bomb plant in this matchup for the outsiders here.
This retake could still be on. Think about the assistance in from Hunter. mONESY peeking with the AWP, deals with Norbert.
That's the first. Sees the second man as well. Jane better not peek. That would lead to death. That would lead to outsiders conceding another round, but Hunter forces the kill anyway. Kicker now 17 HP. Head tucked out of dodge, hearing the rotations. Knowing that mONESY's already out there. Needs those headshots real quick. Sees the man. The burst fire doesn't work out. The headshots don't, and Hunter makes it a double. The retake is successful. G2, a 10-0 undefeated streak on Inferno.
The second player gets spotted. As soon as that run out goes out towards Dark, you're already seeing so much information given away in that round.
But G2 are offering nothing in the kill department.
Seems like they actually want to take Banana. We haven't seen G2 doing this very much at all in the first half. Early nades down there towards the bottom. They had the AWP to peek. NIKo's not seeing anything. Kicking to peek out. Opening man advantage again.
No flash support at all with that peek. Just out dry, easy pickings. NIKo with his 15th kill of the game, challenging mONESY and usurping mONESY recently to get the kill leader on the board. HooXi walks out the long control, Fame down, Norbert. Another dry face, shoulder was peeked out there. He knows that the man's up the position. HooXi expecting no flash, and again they'll lose the fight for it. They had one push back into brackets. Flit left alone towards the apartments alongside James Orp. Can't really move here.
Actually wouldn't mind a save here. For Outsiders, nothing has presented itself. No one's over peeking. It's been a lack of even picks towards A. Just, there's nothing coming for you at all. Just hold these last couple of players, I reckon.
That's Flit falling anyway. And Jane was thinking of grabbing that bomb, rotating it up to him and committing out the apartments. Obviously, that seemed like the telegraph plan, but first man out. Dead to rights in an instant. G2 will lose one player, but HooXi still got a shot off on Jame, and with the money that they have here for the CTs, they can afford the hunt. 4 AKs in this, the AWP to fall for the T side. Hunter doesn't extend around the right corner, so at least they keep that in play for Jame. But they need so much more than a saved AWP here.
This is Outsiders in a position that we can't even relate to. You think about the 2-0 against Big, 2-0 against For the Win, taking a map off FaZe, sending them to a third, even taking double digits on that last map of the series of Inferno.
And you have every right to laugh because it seems like such a laughable prospect given what we've seen in this map up so far. There's only one in the series, HooXi finding Kicker, swing out, Fame responds to the 4v4 scenario, nades back, and finally a bit of life from this young man. His first two, technically his third, actually got the TK earlier. But in this matchup alone, a 4-on-3 for the Outsiders. Look to press into the B site.
Nicely done there from Fame. Double entry, caught G2, overextending JKS out towards his spoiler position. Gets that dink off towards Norbert, and a lot of damage down to 14. mONESY, pressure's building on him towards B now.
Hunter may find the pressure towards A himself. The bomb's on its rotation. Fame on his way in. And mONESY seeing nothing. Can't really provide support. He's got to stand and defend the B site until Hunter gets overwhelmed. They go for an AWP retake at that. AK sat and ready to receive. The Molotov sent his way. No counter smoke can come down. He'll resist for the time being. And mONESY will go up to position. Great incendiary on the default plant position. Catching Norbert. Unawares of the player on the side, but Fame's still going to burn. A 1-on-2 for mONESY. Trying to look at the gap in the smoke. And here the bomb plant coming in. He's going in real quick for this as well. Does Flit catch him? Has utility pulled out. The resmoke comes down.
Try to see if he could work around it. Needs to get over towards that right-hand side. Try and at least bait Jane with the AWP.
Oh, almost hit that as well. Gets back out of position, flashbang forward, and he looks to escape with the big green or reposition. I can't quite tell. They got so much cash, I wouldn't blame mONESY for going for this retake here. He slowed the whole pace down. He'll look to save the weapon instead. So finally, at long last, after 12 grueling rounds, Outsiders will get their first on the board.
And that was pure punishment in that sort of round. You saw the way that G2 got the pick towards the top of Banana from HooXi.
That's a minimum requirement at this stage for them to have any chance in this map up in this series. Get these next 3 rounds where the C's might end up leaning forward to. Outsiders. Smokes down at Moto, a block off mONESY. Can be a wraparound player to the B site the same. The incendiary stops that though.
And now positions himself in a way that he can hear the rap going in towards CT Spawn if that is the movement, but even play behind the smoke and get out to Moto now.
Ahead of it at the library position, flashbang turned away from. Moto smoke start to clear soon. Norbert seen, headshot found, but 2 other players there to take his place. Brings it back to a 4-on-4. Flit now, out of the apartments, caught up by Hunter in a graveyard, and James Orp turns it back in. They get the kill towards the player and mini pit at the same time, so the plant is secured. 3v2, G2 locks out of the A site. They'll try to crack their way forward regardless.
Oh, Jame again with the AWP, even completely blinded off at the back of that one. And now HooXi, the IGL, trying to see if he can muster something up, looking towards that pit control. Jame ends up with a triple, and that is a huge round from him.
But it's a far cry compared to the rest of the Outsiders. Next man down, Norbert at 6. Their hold.
NIKo playing out towards the top of Banana. mONESY with the AWP gets away with the first. The instant trade is there for Norbert, just like the last round.
Get rid of one of those big impact players. Next one down is NIKo. JKS, however, having his impact on the damage board. Norbert, less than half HP thanks to that wallbang attempt. Smoke to the cross and coffins. 2 players on their way back up. HooXi fall back behind those smokes, put the nades up. The damage of the Molotov actually gets one. The nade gets a second. HooXi allowed back into the B site. Outsiders bunch up for the utility and leave themselves exposed to NIKo. James Orp shot too far to the right. Dealt with by the rifler. And it's a 12-2 now. G2 back in with a 10-round deficit. At least Outsiders have a bye for round 15. Outsiders have got to accept that. Missed out on the minimum mark of 4. Can still get a 12-3 down, of course. But need to win this round, desperately so.
Norbert's got 2 players to fend off. Out to the apartments. JKS with the bait and the enemy beat towards the right-hand side. The numbers game looks good. Norbert gets away with one, and mONESY does not respond. Instead, gets spammed down low.
28 HP thanks to the wallbangs. Teams hold their line in the apartments. The flash is ready for James to try and break them in from the apartments pop. They're a little bit late to the marker. Fame out the gate, does tank some damage. mONESY grabs that AWP, turns it in on Flit. Norbert falls to the advantage to the favor of G2, but both players on his site are low. Backup's quick to the scene though. Ned's kicker finding Hunter. mONESY still on the site, taking shots, will be exposing. Kick up through the smoke, brings it back to Outsiders' line.
Smoke off towards Moto. The G's have got to make a very tough decision whether they keep looking towards a boost. And NIKo's going to try boost up over the top of Moto. Deals with the first to Jame at least.
It's an all-important frag back 2-on-2 situation. Flashes in to allow Fame to get back into mini pit. They won't know. NIKo trying to hunt for the info, jump facing. And we'll look around towards brackets in case there is a flank play. Incendiary sent down as HooXi sees the head. Now aware of one. Is he aware of that second man? Oh, that nade! Catches one. Is he going to be baited by the second kicker? Just biding his time, hearing the footsteps. Will wait for that bomb to get tapped. NIKo up at Graveyard will be spotted. Spray through, reveals position. He needs that kill desperately, and NIKo will not allow it. The retake will be on. Held by HooXi's defuse for a 13-2 half. G2 looking absolutely dominant on the CT side.
Well, history might be made here today, Jay. In the last 3 months, this is the best first half for G2.
G2, because it very clearly is not. 3 rounds to the victory for the T side. They're already into the B site. Smokes down, kill foul. mONESY catching kicker instantly. The rotations are slow. They'll get to position on the CT bases. The backstab less so. The plant's already come down.
They still got further util, still got a couple of nades to come on the back of JKS, and for Norbert, he's desperate to get any sort of pick back here for construction.
Fame's been seen, information being given up. Norbert trying to act his way forward, sees the vertical crossfire and gets pushed in by it. James, desperate, needs a kill. mONESY and HooXi will offer it up to him actually. 3-on-3, transport back by the Outsiders. Need one of those kits, and I don't think there's one in play. Flit caught out now. James on the center of the site, needs his backup, but JKS goes for the double, and James got no way in. NIKo puts him out of commission. It's 14-2, G2 in full control. Would be 11 to try and bring that one back, but just, it's regardless, it's such a ridiculous deficit to try and return for the Outsiders, and they haven't been putting up the numbers. They haven't been looking like a decent force. The only player that's been looking great for this TT side has been Jame. I just don't think it's feasible.
Even look at the map control that's being allowed in this sort of round. No one out towards long. A bit of a distraction from NIKo towards B. He does lose the fight to kick it, but someone's going to get caught on that rotate. Jame with his knife out.
Oh, the taps and all. Just to add the extra, just to add the highlight. One more tap. Nah, just a spray. It's so good. It's a 3K. It's the B site fall, and it's just lights out for Outsiders.
And just when you thought there may have been a moment of opportunity in that round, yeah, they've overexposed long and they've allowed the T's to get in towards CT, but you've got the opening pick, you've got Kickit dealing with that lurk towards Banana of NIKo, but no, nothing else really gets granted. Flit's best options just to hold on. And to think that Flit is the highest rated player in this group stage, and he's down on 2 kills. Now, it's not just him. It is fundamentally the entire team in this first half being rolled over. But it's just knowing that if there was anyone in this sort of situation, maybe not at 2-15 down, but when the deficit was increasing to step up, you'd think it would be Flit. And unfortunately, we just haven't seen that today.
There's nothing much more you can say. Outsiders. Outgunned, outmaneuvered, outclassed on their own map pick.
Limitations.
The Masters on 3, no M4 in sight. At least Famous caught that first kill. 21 HP, having to continue the face. He's going to keep pressing forward. Get tagged up by the utility, and NIKo will wrap that corner to get the frag back to a 4-on-4. Norbert's also down. Advantage gained by the T's once again.
And just how quickly G2 were able to apply pressure on different points of the map. Up there at the half wall with the trade back from NIKo, into brackets to be able to find some assistance onto Norbert. And now for Jame, he's going to be the lone player towards A. They're thinking about a slightly heavy, more gamble over to the B site right now for Outsiders.
Try and fall back here for the tease. Forward man. Only seeing so much. Outsiders so much more passive this time.
Kick it. Just trying to jiggle down onto the angle, deal with NIKo on the first contact, spread out a little bit wider. Does at least spot some information. G2 don't have to commit off the back of this, though.
Looks like they're going to do so anyway. Smokes the Coplinson cross. Flashes at the ready. Push over towards the CT spawn. NIKo, first man into the sight kicker. Deagle does nothing. 2 left. Got Flit in out towards CT. Bomb coming down. Knife pulled out for James JKS. Here's him. That's an easy frag. And then there's one more to gain to close it out in an effective 16-2 that would put the Outsiders in a much worse position than when they started this series with.